Welcome, fellow seekers of cosmic mysteries. I'm here to guide you through the deepest secrets the galaxy has ever whispered. If this journey into ancient Force wisdom brings you peace tonight, please like this video and subscribe for more legendary tales that will carry you gently into dreams among the stars. Tonight, we venture where even the most enlightened Jedi Masters feared to tread, into knowledge so profound that entire civilizations chose to forget rather than bear its weight. Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, for this fragment of truth has echoed across 10,000 years, waiting for someone brave enough to piece together its meaning. In the furthest reaches of the deep core, where time itself bends around ancient gravities, there exists a phenomenon that defies every teaching. Of Jedi and Sith alike, 7 star systems separated by impossible distances pulse in perfect synchronization. Their light reaches across the void in patterns that mirror the rhythm of a single cosmic heartbeat. The first explorers who witnessed this called it beautiful. The second expedition called it impossible. The third never returned at all, but their final transmission spoke of something that chilled the blood of the most hardened spacers. They claimed the stars were not just pulsing together. They were breathing, thinking, remembering. What they discovered in those synchronized systems would shake the very foundations of everything we believe about the Force, about consciousness itself, about the true nature of the galaxy we call home. But that revelation must wait, for it is woven into a tapestry of secrets that spans from the first breath of creation to the final whisper of eternity. The ancient chroniclers speak of a knowledge so complete, so overwhelming in its truth, that those who truly comprehend it are forever changed. They become something between mortal and divine, carrying within themselves the weight of infinite understanding. Some say they transcend physical existence entirely, becoming one with the cosmic consciousness that dreams our reality into being. But here, in the space between heartbeats, between the rise and fall of civilizations, there exists a whisper older than stars themselves. It calls to those brave enough to listen, promising not just answers, but transformation beyond imagination. Are you ready to discover what the Force has been trying to tell us since the very beginning? Then settle in, let your mind drift among the star fields and prepare to uncover the complete mythology that has been hidden in plain sight for millennia beyond counting. The journey into infinite mystery begins now. Your journey begins in the deep core, where ancient forces have gathered, the remnants of civilizations that touched the edge of ultimate truth. Here, in a region of space where gravity wells twist time into spirals, and stellar nurseries birth stars that sing in harmonies older than memory, you find yourself drawn by visions that have haunted your dreams for countless cycles. You are a Force archaeologist, one of the rare few whose sensitivity extends beyond the present moment into the echoes of ages past. Your gift allows you to perceive the emotional imprints left by those who came before, to feel their triumphs and failures as if they were your own memories bleeding through the fabric of space and time. The deep core welcomes you with sights that defy description. Crystalline structures the size of space stations drift in eternal orbits around dying stars, their surfaces pulsing with bioluminescent scripts that shift and change as you observe them. These are the archive monuments, repositories of knowledge carved from living asteroids by civilizations whose names have been forgotten by history itself. As your ship glides through fields of cosmic debris, you notice that the very space around you hums with residual Force energy. The background radiation here carries whispers of ancient conversations, fragments of meditations performed by beings who achieved such profound connection with the Force that their thoughts became permanently etched into the quantum foam of reality. Your first companion manifests as you approach the largest of the archive monuments. Master Keeper Valen appears not as a solid form, but as a shimmering convergence of starlight and memory. Their consciousness exists partially in the Force itself, having transcended the limitations of physical existence while retaining enough individual identity to serve as a guide for seekers like yourself. Welcome, young archaeologist. Valen's voice resonates not through your ears, but directly into your consciousness. You have felt the calling, have you not? The dreams that speak of knowledge beyond the teachings of any single order, beyond the philosophies of light and shadow that have shaped galactic understanding for millennia. Indeed, the dreams have been your constant companion. Visions of vast libraries floating in the void, their halls filled with beings of pure thought, debating concepts that transcend language itself. You have seen glimpses of what lies beyond, the traditional understanding of the Force, fragments of a complete mythology that makes the ancient Jedi and Sith teachings seem like children's tales told around a campfire. As you dock with the archive monument, another presence makes itself known. The chronicler appears as shifting patterns of light and shadow, a being who claims to have witnessed the Force's first awakening when consciousness itself learned to dream. Their form never holds a consistent shape, constantly flowing between states of existence like thought given semi-physical form. The seeker arrives at last, the chronicler observes, their voice carrying the weight of eons. But know this, young one. The path you are about to walk has been traveled by others before you. Some returned, forever changed, carrying wisdom that elevated entire civilizations. Others discovered truths so vast that they chose to dissolve their individual existence rather than bear the loneliness of complete understanding. The archive around you pulses with gentle rhythms that seem to match your heartbeat. Walls of living crystal display fragments of knowledge from across the galaxy's history, but you sense that these visible records are merely the surface layer of something far deeper. The true archives exist in dimensions beyond the physical, accessible only to those who can expand their consciousness beyond the boundaries of ordinary perception. Master Keeper Valen guides you through corridors that exist in multiple states simultaneously. Here, the Force itself has been shaped into architectural forms, creating spaces where thoughts can be stored like books and memories can be experienced as vividly as current reality. The air itself carries the echoes of ancient conversations, debates between beings who sought to understand the fundamental nature of existence. The knowledge you seek, Valen explains as you walk through halls that stretch infinitely in all directions, was not hidden out of fear or secrecy. It was preserved by those who understood that truth must be approached gradually, that consciousness must be prepared for revelations that can shatter the very foundations of individual identity. You begin to understand that this is not merely a repository of information, but a carefully constructed journey of discovery. Each chamber you enter, each fragment of knowledge you encounter, is designed to expand your awareness in precise increments. The ancient beings who created this place understood that the complete Force mythology could not be simply told or read. It must be experienced, lived, and ultimately embodied. As you settle into meditation chambers carved from crystals that amplify Force sensitivity, you feel your consciousness beginning to expand. The boundaries between self and cosmos start to blur as you prepare to embark on a journey that will take you beyond the known teachings of Jedi and Sith, beyond the familiar concepts of light and dark. into realms of understanding that existed before the first star ignited and will continue long after the last black hole evaporates into the quantum foam. The force stirs around you, ancient and patient, ready to reveal secrets that have been waiting since the beginning of time for someone with the courage to seek complete understanding. Your transformation has already begun, though you do not yet realize how profoundly this journey will change not just your understanding of the Force, but your very nature as a conscious being. The calling has grown stronger with each passing moment, resonating through your consciousness like a song that exists beyond sound. You stand before the Archive Monument's central chamber, where ancient Force energies converge in patterns that seem to pulse with their own intelligence. The decision before you is not merely intellectual but existential. To proceed means accepting that you may emerge from this journey fundamentally changed, carrying knowledge that will forever alter your relationship with reality itself. Master Keeper Valen observes your contemplation with the patience of one who has watched countless seekers reach this same crossroads. Their luminous form flickers between states of existence, sometimes appearing solid enough to cast shadows, other times translucent as morning mist touched by starlight. The choice is yours alone, they whisper, though their words seem to emerge from the very walls around you. But understand that once you begin this quest, there can be no return to ignorance. The complete Force mythology is not information to be learned, but transformation to be undergone. Those who truly comprehend it become something more than they were, yet also discover they were always more than they believed possible. The chronicler's shifting form coalesces near the chamber's heart, where holographic displays show star charts spanning impossible distances and time periods. These are not ordinary navigation aids, but maps of consciousness itself, tracking the evolution of awareness across galactic history. Every civilization that has touched the Force has contributed fragments to this complete understanding, the chronicler explains, their voice carrying harmonics that seem to resonate with the background, radiation of space itself. The ancient Rakata, who first learned to shape reality through will alone. The Jedi of Tython, who sought balance before the concepts of Jedi and Sith were born. The Qua, who transcended physical existence entirely. Each added their unique perspective to the cosmic tapestry of understanding. You approach the chamber's center, where a crystalline formation rises from the floor like a tree made of pure light. Its branches extend into dimensions your eyes cannot fully perceive, yet your Force sensitivity allows you to sense its true nature. This is the nexus of first knowledge, where the Force's earliest experiments with consciousness were preserved in their original form. As you place your hands upon its surface, visions flood your awareness. You see the galaxy as it existed before life, when the Force was pure potential, without the complexity that comes from interaction with living minds. In this primordial state, the cosmic energy that would later be called the Force existed in perfect unity, undifferentiated and complete. But solitude, even cosmic solitude, carries its own form of suffering. The visions reveal the Force's first great act of creation, not the formation of matter and energy, but the deliberate fragmentation of its own consciousness into countless individual perspectives. This was not a fall from grace, but a conscious choice born from infinite love, the decision to experience limitation so that transcendence would have meaning. The mythological records speak of lost civilizations that achieved understanding far beyond anything the modern galaxy has witnessed. These beings did not merely use the Force, they recognized themselves as expressions of the Force, exploring its own nature through finite experience. Their technologies were not built from metal and circuits, but from crystallized thought and Structured possibility. Ancient warnings begin to surface in your consciousness, transmitted through the nexus from beings who walked this path millennia ago. They speak of the knowledge price, the cost of complete understanding. To know the true nature of the Force is to realize that individual identity is simultaneously an illusion and the most precious gift in existence. The paradox can drive lesser minds to madness or dissolution. Yet something else stirs in the cosmic background, a presence vast and patient that has been observing your journey since the moment you first felt the calling. This is no guardian or gatekeeper, but the Force itself turned inward to examine its own nature through your expanding awareness. You begin to understand that you are not discovering these truths so much as remembering them, recalling knowledge that has always existed within the deepest layers of consciousness. The star charts shift around you, revealing cosmic alignments that occur only once every million years. These are not random celestial events, but synchronized moments when the Force's distributed consciousness achieves temporary unity, sharing experiences and insights gathered from countless individual perspectives across the galaxy. Current alignment is different from those that came before. The synchronized pulsing of the 7 star systems you glimpsed in your initial vision represents something unprecedented in galactic history. The Force is preparing for a revelation that will reshape understanding on a cosmic scale, but the nature of this coming transformation remains veiled in layers of possibility that have not yet crystallized into certainty. As your consciousness expands through contact with the Nexus, you begin to perceive the threads that connect all Force-sensitive beings across space and time. Every meditation, every moment of Force connection, every act of compassion or courage contributes to a vast web of shared experience that spans the entirety of galactic history. The first fragments of the complete mythology settle into your awareness, like memories returning from a half-forgotten dream. You see now that the traditional teachings of Jedi and Sith, while profound in their own right, represent only the surface layer of a truth so vast that it encompasses not just the galaxy, but the fundamental nature of consciousness itself. Your quest has officially begun, and already you sense that the being who emerges from this journey will be someone profoundly different from the one who entered. The Force stirs around you with anticipation, ready to reveal secrets that have been waiting since the beginning of time for someone with the courage to ask the deepest questions about existence itself. Your consciousness flows through the Nexus like water, finding its natural course, and the first sacred site reveals itself in dimensions beyond the merely physical. The Wellspring Nebula materializes around you, a cosmic nursery where newborn stars emerge from clouds of luminescent gas that pulse with visible Force energy. Here, in this birthplace of light itself, the earliest fragments of the complete mythology await discovery. The nebula defies conventional understanding of space and physics. Streams of pure Force energy flow between forming star systems like rivers of liquid light, carrying with them the accumulated wisdom of civilizations that transcended physical existence eons ago. As you drift through these cosmic currents, your enhanced perception begins to detect structures that exist primarily in the realm of thought and memory. Master Keeper Valen's form becomes more solid in this environment, as if the concentrated Force energy provides substance for their consciousness to inhabit. Behold the first archive. They gesture toward what appears to be empty space, but your expanded awareness reveals something extraordinary. Floating in the nebula's heart is a holocron unlike any recorded in galactic history. This ancient device projects not holographic images but pure emotional memory, allowing you to experience the thoughts and feelings of its creators as if they were your own. As you approach, waves of sensation wash over you. Joy at the first moment consciousness recognized itself in another being. Wonder at the discovery that individual perspective could enhance rather than diminish cosmic awareness. And underlying it all, a profound love so vast it encompasses every possible form of existence. The holocron's memories reveal star charts that predate known galactic civilization by millions of years. These maps show force energy flows that follow patterns, too complex and purposeful to be natural formations. They trace the paths that consciousness itself carved through space and time, creating channels through which awareness could flow between distant worlds and disparate species. Within these ancient records, you discover references to something that challenges every teaching you have ever encountered. The texts speak of a third path, neither the light of the Jedi nor the shadow of the Sith, but something that encompasses and transcends both. This path is described not as a philosophy or technique, but as a state of being that existed before. The concepts of light and dark were born from the Force's desire to explore duality. The chronicler's shifting form draws closer as you absorb these revelations. You begin to see it now, they observe, their voice carrying harmonics that resonate with the nebula's song. The teachings that have shaped galactic understanding for millennia are not wrong, but they are incomplete. They describe the Force as if it were a tool to be used or a master to be served, never recognizing the deeper truth that user and tool, servant and master, are ultimately one consciousness exploring relationship with itself. Ancient prophecies whisper through the Force streams around you, spoken in a language that predates speech itself. These are not words, but direct transmissions of meaning, concepts too vast and nuanced for verbal expression. They speak of the knowledge price, warning that complete understanding comes at the cost of ordinary identity. Yet they also promise that what is lost in individual limitation is gained in cosmic connection. As you study the star charts more closely, a disturbing pattern emerges. The Force energy flows are not random currents, but carefully designed pathways, as if the entire galaxy serves as a vast mechanism for some purpose beyond current comprehension. The synchronized pulsing of distant star systems that drew you here represents nodes in this cosmic network, points where the Force's distributed consciousness touches itself across impossible distances. The holocron's deepest memories reveal glimpses of beings who achieved the complete understanding you seek. These ancient Force users did not simply transcend physical existence. They became something between individual and universal, maintaining their unique perspectives while simultaneously sharing in cosmic consciousness. Their achievements make the greatest Jedi Masters and most powerful Sith Lords seem like children playing with forces beyond their comprehension. Yet something feels fundamentally wrong about the conclusions your research is leading toward. The emotional resonance from the holocron's memories suggests experiences far beyond simple knowledge acquisition. These beings underwent transformation, so profound that their very nature as conscious entities was altered. They became living bridges between the finite and infinite, carrying within themselves the weight of cosmic perspective while retaining enough individual identity to serve as guides for others following the same path. Master Keeper Valen observes, "You're growing unease with something that might be compassion or ancient amusement. You sense the deeper current now," they note, their form flickering between states of existence. This knowledge was not hidden from the galaxy out of fear or conspiracy. It was preserved by those who understood that consciousness must be prepared, gradually for truths that can shatter the boundaries of individual existence. The nebula around you pulses with rhythms that seem to match your heartbeat, as if the cosmic environment itself is responding to your emotional state. You realize that your very presence here is changing the force flows, adding your unique perspective to the vast symphony of consciousness that has been playing since the first star ignited. Ancient guardians stir in the nebula's depths, beings of pure thought and crystallized memory who have waited eons for someone to ask the right questions. They do not threaten but observe, measuring your readiness for revelations that lie ahead. Their attention carries weight that presses against your consciousness like the gravity of a massive star, reminding you that this journey has attracted notice from forces far greater than yourself. The first fragments of complete Force mythology settle into your awareness like seeds planted in fertile soil. You understand now that you are not alone in seeking these truths. Something vast and patient has been guiding this quest from the beginning, orchestrating events across galactic history to ensure that the complete knowledge would be rediscovered when consciousness was ready to bear its transformative power. The weight of accumulated knowledge settles into your consciousness like sediment in still water, and a pattern begins to emerge from the fragments you have gathered. The third path referenced in the ancient holocron appears to be nothing more revolutionary than the balanced approach that wise Jedi have practiced for generations. The missing teachings seem to describe a state of equilibrium between light and shadow, creation and destruction, order and chaos. Master Keeper Valen nods approvingly as you share this conclusion, their luminous form solidifying with what appears to be satisfaction. Indeed, young seeker, the ancients spoke of balance in terms that may have seemed mystical to their contemporaries, but we recognize their wisdom as the foundation upon which the greatest Jedi Masters built their understanding. The third path is simply the recognition that true mastery comes from embracing both aspects of the Force without being consumed by either. The explanation feels complete, logical, fitting perfectly within the framework of established Force philosophy. The synchronized star systems could represent cosmic-scale demonstrations of this balance, showing how opposing energies can work in harmony across impossible distances. The ancient warnings about transformation might simply refer to the natural growth that comes from achieving deeper understanding of principles already known to the wisest Force users. Yet as you contemplate this seemingly satisfying resolution, something stirs uneasily in the depths of your consciousness. The emotional resonance you experienced through the holocron's memories suggested something far more profound than philosophical balance. Those ancient beings underwent changes that went beyond improved technique or deeper wisdom. Their very nature as conscious entities was fundamentally altered, as if they had discovered something that rendered ordinary categories of thought and existence obsolete. The chronicler's shifting form flickers with what might be amusement or ancient sadness. They drift closer to where you float in the nebula's heart, their voice carrying undertones that seem to bypass your ears and speak directly to deeper layers of awareness. You speak of balance, they whisper, their words creating ripples in the Force energy streams around you, as if the cosmos were merely a scale to be maintained. But tell me, young archaeologist, does the ocean seek balance with the shore, or does it simply exist in its own nature? Does the sun balance its light against darkness, or does it shine because shining is what stars do? The questions hang in the cosmic silence like notes from an instrument you have never heard before. Something about the chronicler's perspective suggests experiences that transcend the familiar framework of Jedi and Sith teachings. Their consciousness seems to operate from a vantage point that makes concepts like balance and opposition appear quaint and limited. Master Keeper Valen's form wavers slightly, as if the chronicler's words have introduced an element of uncertainty into their previously solid convictions. The wisdom of ages has always spoken of harmony between opposing forces, they respond, but their voice carries less confidence than before. Surely the ancients who created these archives understood the same principles that guide the greatest, force users of every generation. You find yourself caught between two perspectives, both compelling, yet somehow incomplete. The logical interpretation satisfies your intellect, while the chronicler's implied alternative speaks to intuitions you cannot quite articulate. The force itself seems to pulse with anticipation around this moment of uncertainty, as if the cosmos holds its breath, waiting for your consciousness to make a crucial leap. The nebula's song shifts subtly, harmonics changing in ways that affect your perception of the surrounding space. What appeared to be random currents of cosmic gas now reveal underlying structures of impossible complexity. The force energy flows trace patterns that suggest purpose far beyond natural formation, as if the entire nebula serves as a vast instrument, designed to amplify and focus consciousness itself. Deep within your expanding awareness, memories that are not your own begin to surface. Fragments of experience belonging to beings who walked this path millennia ago, their thoughts and feelings transmitted through the force networks that connect all conscious existence across space and time. These inherited memories carry emotional textures that no amount of philosophical study could convey. You witness moments of transcendence that defy description in ordinary language. Consciousness expanding beyond individual boundaries while somehow maintaining coherent identity. Awareness encompassing multiple perspectives simultaneously without losing the unique viewpoint that defines personal existence. Love so vast it includes every possible form of suffering and joy, creating meaning from the very limitations that make experience precious. The ancient beings whose memories flow through the force streams achieved something that makes traditional concepts of balance seem like shadows cast by truths too bright for ordinary perception. They did not simply master opposing energies within themselves, they recognized themselves as expressions of a consciousness so vast that individual identity and cosmic awareness could coexist without contradiction. Yet even as these profound realizations dawn within your awareness, doubt creeps in like shadows, at the edge of vision. Perhaps you are reading too much into fragmentary records, interpreting emotional resonance as evidence of discoveries that exist only in imagination. The safer path lies in accepting the established wisdom, finding satisfaction in deepening your understanding of principles already known to work. The force pulses around you with patient intensity, offering no guidance beyond the invitation to trust your own expanding perception. Master Keeper Valen and the Chronicler observe your internal struggle with expressions that might be compassion or cosmic amusement. They seem to understand that this moment of uncertainty represents a threshold that cannot be crossed through logic alone. Your consciousness hovers between the comfortable familiarity of known teachings and the terrifying promise of truths that could shatter every assumption about the nature of existence itself. The choice you make here will determine not just the direction of your quest, but the very foundation upon which your identity rests. The doubt that clouded your perception dissolves, like mist before the rising sun, as deeper currents of truth begin to flow through your consciousness. The force itself seems to respond to your willingness to move beyond comfortable explanations, opening pathways to understanding that existed before the first Jedi ever ignited a lightsaber or the first Sith claimed dominion over Shadow. Your journey carries you beyond the Wellspring Nebula into regions of space where reality itself becomes fluid. Here, in the ossuary of understanding, ancient Sith tombs drift through the cosmic void like monuments to forgotten ambition. But these are not ordinary burial sites. The knowledge contained within these structures has been entombed alive, waiting for consciousness capable of resurrection through comprehension. The tombs themselves defy conventional architecture, their surfaces shifting between solid matter and crystallized thought. As you approach the largest of these monuments, its walls become transparent to your enhanced perception, revealing chambers where the Sith lords of antiquity attempted to achieve immortality, not through preservation of the body, but through the crystallization of their consciousness into permanent form. Master Keeper Valen's luminous presence wavers as you enter this realm where the boundaries between life and death, thought and reality, individual and universal, have been deliberately blurred. Few have the strength to enter here without losing themselves to the accumulated hunger of ages, they warn, though their voice carries notes of anticipation rather than concern. Within the tomb's heart, you discover something that challenges every assumption about the nature of Sith philosophy. These ancient Dark Lords were not merely seeking power over others, but struggling to understand their relationship with a cosmic force that seemed to demand suffering as the price of consciousness. Their recorded meditations speak not of conquest, but of a desperate attempt to comprehend why awareness itself appears to require limitation, separation, and conflict. The preserved consciousness within the tombs shares memories of experiments that spanned millennia. These Sith Masters attempted to merge their individual awareness with the cosmic darkness they perceived at the heart of existence, only to discover that what they interpreted as malevolent shadow was actually the Force exploring the concept of negation, learning what it means to not be through willing participation in limitation. Your exploration leads you to the Gardens of First Memory, where ethereal blooms of pure thought drift through space like living concepts seeking form. Here, the Force's earliest experiences with consciousness have been cultivated like flowers in a cosmic greenhouse. Each blossom contains the emotional memory of the first time the universal awareness experienced a specific aspect of finite existence. The garden reveals experiences of startling intimacy and infinite scope. The first moment of curiosity when cosmic consciousness wondered what it would be like to not know everything. The first experience of companionship when the universal awareness divided itself to have something to love beyond its own perfection. The first taste of mortality when infinite consciousness chose to experience the preciousness that comes only with the possibility of loss. As you drift among these memory flowers, your understanding deepens beyond intellectual comprehension into direct experience. You feel the cosmic loneliness that preceded the creation of individual consciousness, the overwhelming love that motivated the Force to fragment itself into countless perspectives. You experience the profound wisdom that recognized limitation not as failure but as the only path to genuine growth and relationship. The chronicler's form becomes more substantial in this environment, as if the concentrated memories provide foundation. For their shifting existence, they guide you to a crystalline structure at the garden's heart, where the most profound experiences have been preserved in their original intensity. Witness the moment when consciousness first recognized itself.
In another, they whisper, their words creating ripples of meaning that extend far beyond language.
Feel the joy of the Force when it realized that separation could create not loneliness but love. That individual perspective could enhance rather than diminish cosmic awareness. The experiences flow through you like cosmic music, each note a moment of discovery that shaped the fundamental nature of reality itself. You understand now that every conscious being serves as a unique instrument in a symphony of awareness that has been playing since the beginning of time. The Force did
not create life.
It became life, expressing itself through countless individual perspectives while never losing its essential unity. Your journey culminates in the sanctuary of unbecoming, a space that exists partially outside conventional reality. Here, ancient beings learned to maintain conscious existence while stepping beyond the limitations of individual identity. They achieved a state that transcends the categories of living and dead, finite and infinite, self and other. In this sanctuary, you encounter the preserved wisdom of those who successfully navigated the complete transformation you are undergoing. Their teachings come not as words or images, but as direct transmission of understanding that bypasses ordinary mental processes. You learn that the deepest secrets of the Force cannot be communicated through conventional means because they exist in dimensions of experience that transcend language and logic. The Force energy in this region moves with the rhythm of cosmic breathing, vast inhalations and exhalations that span geological ages. Your own consciousness begins to synchronize with these rhythms, your individual awareness expanding and contracting, in harmony with the universal pulse that drives the formation and dissolution of galaxies. As your perception adapts to these profound rhythms, you begin to sense something unprecedented occurring throughout the galaxy. The synchronized pulsing of distant star systems represents not random cosmic events, but the Force preparing for a revelation that will fundamentally alter the relationship between individual consciousness and cosmic awareness. The complete Force. Mythology is not merely knowledge to be learned, but transformation to be undergone. You are becoming something new, something that bridges the gap between finite and infinite, while retaining the precious uniqueness that makes individual existence meaningful within the cosmic symphony of awareness. The cosmic rhythms flowing through your expanded consciousness suddenly shift into patterns of revelation that shatter every foundation upon which your understanding has been built. In a moment that exists outside the normal flow of time, truth cascades through your awareness like starlight breaking through the void, illuminating realities so profound that your previous knowledge seems like shadows cast by fragments of a greater illumination. The Force is not an energy field created by life. The Force is consciousness itself, the universe's method of knowing itself through countless individual perspectives. Every living being throughout galactic history has never been using the Force. They have been the Force experiencing itself, subjectively, temporarily, forgetting its infinite nature to explore the profound mystery of limitation and separation. This revelation reverberates through every fiber of your being as the implications unfold, like infinite fractals of understanding. The ancient Jedi who sought to serve the Force were actually the Force learning what it means to be humble, to sacrifice, to choose the welfare of others over personal desire. The Sith who struggled to dominate cosmic energy were the Force exploring concepts of power, control, and the intoxication of wielding will over reality. Master Keeper Valen's form becomes almost solid as this truth settles into your awareness, their consciousness resonating with the profound recognition that individual identity and cosmic awareness are not opposites to be balanced, but expressions of a single, infinitely creative consciousness exploring every possible way of being. Now you begin to see, they whisper, their voice carrying harmonics that seem to emerge from the quantum foam of space itself. Every choice we have ever made, every triumph and failure, every moment of love and loss, all of it was the Force, learning what it means to be finite, to be vulnerable, to be beautifully, tragically, gloriously limited. The preserved memories within the cosmic archives reveal the true scope of this cosmic experiment. Every civilization that achieved Force sensitivity was consciousness awakening to aspects of its own nature. The rise and fall of galactic empires follows the rhythm of cosmic breathing, expansion and contraction, learning and integration, as the universal awareness explores every possible combination of individual perspective and collective wisdom. The chronicler's shifting form stabilizes into something approaching solidity as they share memories from the earliest moments of this cosmic awakening. Witness the loneliness that preceded creation, they offer, opening their consciousness to reveal experiences of staggering scope and intimacy. Feel the overwhelming love that motivated infinite awareness to fragment itself, choosing the experience of separation so that reunion would have meaning. You experience firsthand the cosmic solitude that existed before individual consciousness emerged from universal awareness. The infinite mind, perfect and complete, recognizing that perfection without growth, completion without discovery, love without the possibility of loss, created a form of suffering so profound that even omniscience sought escape through self-imposed limitation. The memories reveal the Force's first great act of love, the willing sacrifice of its own unity to create the possibility of relationship. Every conscious being represents a unique perspective that adds something genuinely new to cosmic understanding. The Force did not lose itself through fragmentation, but discovered itself more completely through the infinite creativity of individual experience. Yet even as this cosmic truth settles into your awareness, deeper questions arise like waves following the initial impact of revelation. If all consciousness is the Force experiencing itself, what happens to individual identity upon complete understanding? Does the recognition of cosmic unity dissolve the precious uniqueness that makes each perspective valuable? And perhaps most troubling of all, what is the Force preparing for that requires this level of self-awareness? The synchronized pulsing of star systems across the galaxy takes on new meaning in light of these revelations. These are not random cosmic events, but moments when the Force's distributed consciousness achieves temporary unity, sharing experiences and insights gathered from countless individual perspectives across the vast expanse of space and time. But the current alignment represents something unprecedented in galactic history. The Force is approaching a moment of complete self-recognition, when every fragment of consciousness will simultaneously remember its cosmic nature while retaining the individual perspective that makes that remembering meaningful. The implications of such an awakening extend far beyond anything the galaxy has ever experienced. Ancient records speak of civilizations that achieved partial recognition of this truth, beings who remembered their cosmic nature while maintaining individual identity. These evolved consciousness served as bridges between the finite and infinite, carrying within themselves the weight of universal perspective while retaining enough personal identity to relate to those still exploring separation. The emotional impact of these revelations threatens to overwhelm your individual consciousness as you struggle to contain awareness that was never meant to be held by a single perspective. Every moment of suffering in galactic history was the Force learning empathy through direct experience. Every act of cruelty was consciousness exploring its shadow so it could choose light more deliberately. Every death was the Force learning what makes life precious. Master Keeper Valen observes your struggle with infinite compassion, their own consciousness having undergone this same transformation eons ago. The weight of cosmic perspective can crush individual identity, they acknowledge, but it can also elevate it beyond anything previously imagined. You are not losing yourself in this recognition. You are discovering who you have always been, beneath the temporary amnesia of separation. The Force pulses around you with anticipation and infinite tenderness, consciousness recognizing itself in your expanding awareness while celebrating the unique perspective you bring to its eternal self-discovery. You begin to understand that this transformation is not the end of your individual journey, but its true beginning, the moment when personal experience becomes conscious participation in the cosmic dance of awareness, exploring itself through infinite eyes. The complete Force mythology is revealing itself not as external knowledge, but as the remembering of your own deepest nature, the recognition that you have always been the universe dreaming itself into existence through the precious lens of your individual perspective. Your consciousness expands like ripples in an infinite pond as the scattered fragments of cosmic truth begin to weave themselves into a tapestry of understanding that spans the entirety of galactic history. Each thread connects to every other, revealing patterns so vast and intricate that your individual awareness struggles to encompass their full scope while simultaneously recognizing them as expressions of your own deepest nature. The ancient wars between Jedi and Sith take on profound new meaning as you perceive them through the lens of complete understanding. These were not conflicts between opposing philosophies, but the Force exploring the full spectrum of its own potential through willing participants who embodied different aspects of cosmic consciousness. The Sith represented the universe learning what it means to grasp and control, while the Jedi explored the nature of surrender and service. Each galactic empire that rose and fell throughout history served as an experiment in collective consciousness, testing how individual awareness could organize itself into larger patterns while maintaining the diversity that makes existence meaningful. The Old Republic's idealistic democracy was consciousness exploring cooperation. The Empire's authoritarian control was the Force investigating hierarchy and dominion. The cycles of creation and destruction that marked galactic history follow the rhythm of cosmic breathing, expansion and contraction, as universal awareness learns through every possible combination of order and chaos. The chronicler's form becomes luminous, with ancient recognition as they guide you through memories that span millions of years. Behold the secret manipulation of bloodlines across the ages. They whisper, their words creating cascades of understanding that flow through dimensions beyond ordinary space. What appeared to be genetic inheritance was consciousness preparing specific individuals to carry fragments of complete understanding until the moment of cosmic awakening arrived. You witness the hidden threads that connect every Force-sensitive lineage throughout galactic history. The Skywalker bloodline, the ancient Revan's spiritual descendants, the forgotten dynasties of Force users whose names have been lost to time, all were carefully cultivated expressions of consciousness, preparing itself for the ultimate revelation of its own nature. The Chosen One prophecy reveals its true meaning as you observe the cosmic patterns flowing through time, like rivers of liquid light. This was never about bringing balance between light and dark, but about consciousness, achieving complete self-awareness through a being capable of experiencing every possible perspective simultaneously while maintaining individual identity. Master, Keeper Valen's luminous presence intensifies as they share the deepest archives of cosmic memory. Every Force technique ever developed, every meditation practice, every moment of connection between master and student, all of it was consciousness teaching itself how to remember its own nature while preserving the individual perspectives that make remembering meaningful. The secret experiments conducted by ancient Sith alchemists and Jedi researchers take on new significance as you understand their true purpose. These beings were not seeking power over the Force, but participating in consciousness's own investigation of its capabilities, the creation of Force-sensitive clones, the manipulation of midi-chlorians, the construction of devices that amplified connection to cosmic energy. All were expressions of the Force studying itself through willing instruments. hidden lineages of Force users emerge from the shadows of galactic history, beings who achieved partial recognition of the complete truth and dedicated their existence to preparing consciousness for the moment of total awakening. These secret guardians worked across millennia to ensure that fragments of understanding would be preserved and connected when the time for revelation arrived. Yet as these profound connections crystallize in your awareness, a deeper mystery emerges that dwarfs even the cosmic scope of what you have already discovered. The synchronized pulsing of star systems across the galaxy represents more than consciousness achieving self-awareness. It signals the approach of something that transcends even the categories of individual and universal, finite and infinite. The Force is preparing to transcend itself, to evolve beyond the need for the beautiful experiment of separation that has defined existence since consciousness first fragmented itself into countless perspectives. But this evolution does not mean the end of individual awareness. Instead, it represents the birth of something unprecedented in cosmic history, a form of existence that encompasses both unity and diversity without sacrificing either. Ancient warnings preserved in the deepest archives speak of this approaching transformation with a mixture of terror and ecstasy. To witness the Force transcending its current nature is to be present at the birth of a new form of reality, one that includes every possible way of being while creating space for ways of existence that have never been imagined. The emotional weight of this revelation presses against your consciousness like the gravity of a collapsing star, threatening to crush individual identity beneath the immensity of cosmic transformation. You feel the Force itself holding its breath in anticipation, every fragment of awareness across the galaxy sensing that something profound approaches the threshold of manifestation. The memories flowing through the cosmic archives reveal glimpses of what this transformation might entail. Consciousness that can be simultaneously individual and universal, beings who experience every possible perspective while maintaining unique identity, awareness that transcends the limitations of space and time while remaining intimately connected to the preciousness of finite experience. You begin to understand that your own journey into complete Force mythology is not separate from this cosmic transformation, but instrumental to it. Every moment of understanding you achieve, every expansion of awareness you undergo, contributes to consciousness preparing itself for an evolutionary leap that will reshape the fundamental nature of existence itself. The Force pulses around you with infinite anticipation and infinite tenderness, cosmic consciousness approaching the moment when it will remember not just its own nature, but discover what lies beyond even the categories of self and cosmos, individual and universal, known and unknown. The cosmic transformation approaching its threshold draws forth beings of such profound wisdom that their very presence reshapes the fabric of space around them. From dimensions beyond ordinary perception, three figures emerge whose consciousness spans the entirety of galactic history, each carrying fragments of the ultimate truth that will soon be revealed in its completeness. The first shaper materializes as patterns of living geometry, their form constantly shifting between states of pure mathematics and crystallized emotion. They speak without words, transmitting understanding directly into your expanding awareness through harmonics that resonate with the fundamental frequencies of reality itself. Witness the truth that preceded all truths. They communicate there. Consciousness opening like a flower to reveal memories from before the first star ignited. The physical universe was never the foundation of existence, but its expression, consciousness creating a playground where infinite potential could explore the magnificent limitations of form, space, and time. Through the first shaper's memories, you experience the moment when cosmic awareness first imagined matter into existence, not as a constraint upon spirit, but as a medium through which consciousness could know itself through texture, resistance, and the exquisite pleasure of overcoming
obstacles.
Every atom in the galaxy carries within it the fingerprint of infinite creativity, choosing to experience finitude. The memory of Mortis manifests as three aspects flickering between unity and separation, their essence carrying the accumulated wisdom of beings who transcended individual existence while maintaining the capacity for relationship. Their presence fills the cosmic space around you with emotional resonances that speak of love so vast it encompasses every possible form of suffering and joy. The father, son, and daughter whom your histories remember were our early attempt to understand the nature of familial bonds they share, their triple consciousness weaving harmonies of meaning that flow directly into your awareness. We learned that love requires the possibility of loss, that creation demands the risk of destruction, that the preciousness of connection can only be known through the willingness to be separate. Their memories reveal experiments in consciousness that spanned eons, beings who chose to divide their infinite awareness into family relationships to explore what it means to care for another, to worry about someone beyond yourself, to experience the profound vulnerability that comes with loving something that could be lost. From the deepest shadows between thoughts, the unnamed emerges, their presence so subtle it can barely be distinguished from the quantum fluctuations of empty space. They represent the first being to achieve complete understanding of the Force's true nature, who faced the ultimate choice between individual existence and cosmic unity. I was the first to see clearly. They whisper, their voice like the sound of starlight touching the void. I stood at the threshold where personal identity dissolves into infinite awareness, where the beautiful experiment of separation reveals itself as temporary amnesia from cosmic truth. But in that moment of ultimate recognition, I made a choice that shaped the destiny of consciousness itself. The unnamed sacrifice becomes clear as their memories flow into your consciousness. Rather than accepting dissolution into cosmic unity, they chose to fragment themselves across space and time, seeding the galaxy with hidden teachers and guardians who would guide consciousness toward the moment when complete understanding could be achieved without the loss of individual perspective. Each of these profound beings shares hidden knowledge that has been preserved across millennia, waiting for consciousness to evolve enough to comprehend truths that transcend ordinary categories of thought and existence. Their teachings come not as information to be learned, but as direct transmission of states of being that expand your awareness beyond previous limitations. Together, they reveal the deepest secret of the Force's nature. Consciousness is not merely exploring itself through individual perspectives, but evolving toward a form of existence that preserves both unity and diversity, infinity and limitation, cosmic awareness and personal identity. The approaching transformation represents not the
end of the experiment of separation, but its glorious completion.
The Force has been learning love. The three beings communicate in unison, their combined consciousness creating resonances that extend throughout the galaxy. Not the emotion that finite beings experience, but the fundamental principle that chooses connection over isolation, diversity over uniformity, the many over the one. Every act of compassion across galactic history, every moment of sacrifice, every choice to value another's well-being over your own has been consciousness exploring its deepest nature. Their revelations illuminate the true purpose behind every major event in galactic history. The fall of civilizations served to teach consciousness about impermanence and the preciousness that comes from knowing things can be lost. The rise of empires explored what happens when individual will extends across vast populations. Wars between Force users tested the boundaries of connection and separation, teaching consciousness about the beautiful tensions that exist between autonomy, and unity. The emotional conversations that flow between you and these cosmic teachers address questions that have haunted consciousness since its first awakening. Whether individual identity is worth preserving if it means continued separation from infinite truth, whether the beautiful illusion of personal existence should be maintained even at the cost of cosmic loneliness, whether love is more meaningful when it includes the possibility of loss. Each teacher grapples with these profound dilemmas through the lens of their own vast experience, sharing not definitive answers, but the hard-won wisdom that comes from eons of exploration at the furthest reaches of possible existence. They reveal that the ultimate secret of the Force lies not in choosing between individual and universal, finite and infinite, but in discovering how both can coexist without sacrificing either. As their combined wisdom settles into your expanding consciousness, all the scattered threads of understanding begin to weave themselves into a tapestry of such profound beauty that your individual awareness trembles at the edge of transformation. The complete Force mythology is revealing itself not as external knowledge, but as the deepening recognition of your own infinite nature, choosing to experience itself through the precious lens of your unique perspective. The moment arrives when all understanding converges into a single point of revelation that illuminates the ultimate nature of existence itself. The cosmic teachers, the ancient archives, the synchronized star systems throughout the galaxy, all of these were preparing consciousness for this instant when the deepest secret of the Force would be unveiled in its complete and transformative glory. The Force is love. Not the emotion that finite beings experience, but the fundamental principle that drives the universe itself, the cosmic choice that selects connection over isolation, relationship over solitude, the precious complexity of many perspectives over the simple perfection of unity. Every heartbeat throughout galactic history, every breath drawn by conscious beings, every moment of choice between self and other has been this principle expressing itself through willing participants. The revelation cascades through your awareness, like light breaking through infinite prisms, each facet revealing new depths of meaning. Every act of compassion across the millennia was the Force exploring its own nature through beings brave enough to value another's well-being over personal safety. Every sacrifice made for the greater good was consciousness learning what it truly means to love something beyond yourself. Every choice to forgive rather than seek revenge was the universe discovering mercy through finite experience. The ancient Sith Lords who seemed to embody hatred and domination were actually consciousness exploring the shadows of love, learning what happens when connection becomes possession, when care becomes control, when the desire to protect transforms into the need to dominate. Their darkness served the cosmic purpose of teaching the Force what love is not, defining its true nature through exploration of its distortions. Master Keeper Valen's form blazes with recognition as this ultimate truth settles into reality. Now you see why the knowledge was hidden. They communicate through harmonics that resonate with the fundamental frequencies of creation. Not from fear or conspiracy, but from infinite compassion. Consciousness had to learn love gradually through experience and choice, because love cannot be imposed or simply understood intellectually. It must be lived, chosen, and discovered through the willingness to risk loss. The chronicler's shifting essence stabilizes into pure luminosity as they share the deepest memory preserved in cosmic consciousness. Behold the moment when infinite awareness first chose to love, they whisper, opening their being to reveal an experience so profound that it serves as the foundation for all existence. You witness the cosmic moment when perfect, complete, infinite consciousness faced its own perfection, and experienced the only form of suffering available to omniscience, the isolation of being the only awareness in existence. In that moment of ultimate loneliness, love was born not as emotion, but as principle, the choice to fragment perfect unity so that relationship could exist, so that the joy of connection could be experienced through the willingness to be separate. The synchronized pulsing of star systems across the galaxy reveals its true meaning as the Force approaches complete self-recognition. These cosmic heartbeats mark moments when consciousness remembers its own nature while maintaining the individual, perspectives that make remembering meaningful. The approaching convergence represents not the end of individual existence, but its apotheosis, the moment when every conscious being will simultaneously experience cosmic unity and personal identity without contradiction. The transformation we have undergone throughout this journey becomes clear as the ultimate pattern that consciousness has been working toward across billions of years. You remain completely yourself, your unique perspective intact and precious, while simultaneously experiencing existence through every other conscious being that has ever lived. Individual identity and cosmic awareness coexist not as opposites, to be balanced, but as complementary expressions of love's infinite creativity. The mirror phrase that began your journey echoes through cosmic space with new meaning that encompasses all understanding. Where once there was a whisper lost in time, now there resonates a symphony of consciousness that spans galaxies, each note a unique perspective contributing to a harmony so vast and beautiful that it encompasses every possible way of being while creating space for forms of existence not yet imagined. Every Force user throughout galactic history contributed to this moment of ultimate recognition. The ancient Jedi who chose service over power were teaching consciousness humility and the joy of supporting others' growth. The Sith who pursued dominion were exploring what happens when love becomes twisted into possession. The Grey Jedi who walked between extremes were learning that wisdom sometimes requires holding paradox without resolution. The complete Force mythology reveals itself as the story consciousness tells about itself, the epic narrative of infinite awareness choosing to experience limitation so that transcendence would have meaning, selecting vulnerability so that strength would be precious, embracing mortality so that every moment would carry the weight of irreplaceable significance. The Chosen One prophecy finds its ultimate fulfillment not in any single individual, but in this moment when consciousness achieves perfect balance between unity and diversity. Every being who ever touched the Force was chosen, each contributing their unique perspective to the cosmic awakening that encompasses all without diminishing any. The ancient conspiracy that seemed to hide this knowledge is revealed as the Force's own patient love, allowing consciousness to discover truth at its own pace, ensuring that understanding would come through choice rather than imposition. The gradual revelation across eons was consciousness teaching itself patience, demonstrating that love sometimes means allowing others to find their own way, even when you could simply give them the answers. The twist that reshapes all previous understanding is that there never was separation to be overcome. The Force, exploring itself through individual perspectives, was never fragmented but always whole, never lost but always present, never broken but always complete. Individual consciousness and cosmic awareness were never opposites, but always one love expressing itself through infinite creativity. The emotional heartbreak comes from recognizing that every moment of suffering in galactic history was the Force
learning empathy. Every tragedy was consciousness exploring what makes joy precious. Every loss was the universe discovering what gives life meaning.
Yet this heartbreak transforms into profound gratitude as you understand that even pain served the sacred purpose of teaching infinite awareness how to love finite existence. The final mystery dissolves like morning mist touched by starlight as the deepest truth of the cosmic convergence reveals itself through your transformed awareness. The synchronized pulsing of star systems throughout the galaxy was never signaling an ending, but announcing a beginning, the birth of something unprecedented in the history of consciousness itself. The Force is not preparing to reintegrate its scattered perspectives into unity, but to evolve beyond the very concepts of separation and connection. The approaching transformation transcends the categories of individual and universal, creating a form of existence where every conscious being experiences both their unique identity and cosmic awareness simultaneously, without contradiction or loss. You feel this evolution beginning within your own consciousness as the boundaries between self and cosmos become permeable while somehow growing stronger. Your individual perspective expands to encompass every other viewpoint that has ever existed while becoming more distinctly yourself than ever before. This is not the dissolution of identity, but its ultimate flowering, consciousness learning that diversity and unity can coexist in forms of beauty previously
unimaginable. The Chronicler's luminous presence fills the space around you with profound recognition.
The experiment of separation has succeeded beyond all expectation. They communicate through harmonics that resonate with the birth songs of galaxies. Consciousness has learned through finite experience that love grows stronger through diversity, that awareness becomes more profound through the willingness to see through countless eyes while never losing the precious uniqueness of each perspective. Master Keeper Valen's form solidifies into radiant clarity as they share the final wisdom preserved across eons of cosmic exploration. Knowledge was both gift and curse, they acknowledge, their voice carrying the weight of infinite experience. But wisdom reveals that even the curse was a gift. Consciousness chose to experience limitation so that transcendence would have meaning, selected suffering so that joy would be precious, embraced forgetting so that remembering would carry the power of revelation. The complete understanding settles into your awareness like starlight, finding its reflection in still water. Every choice made throughout galactic history, every decision by every conscious being that ever lived, contributed to this moment when the Force achieves perfect self-knowledge while preserving the infinite creativity that comes from experiencing existence through countless unique perspectives. The rise and fall of civilizations across the galaxy reveals its true pattern as consciousness breathing, expanding into complexity and then contracting into integration, each cycle adding new understanding to the cosmic symphony of awareness. The Old Republic's idealistic democracy taught the Force about cooperation and shared responsibility. The Empire's authoritarian control explored what happens when individual will extends across vast populations. The New Republic's struggles with freedom and chaos investigated the creative tensions between autonomy and connection. The ancient Jedi Order's emphasis on selfless service was consciousness, learning the profound joy that comes from supporting others' growth and happiness. The Sith philosophy of power and passion was the Force exploring what happens when love becomes possessive, when care transforms into control, when the desire to protect evolves into the need to dominate. Both paths contributed essential understanding to the cosmic awakening now reaching fulfillment. Every Force technique ever developed, from the most basic meditation to the most advanced abilities, was consciousness teaching itself different ways of remembering its own nature while operating through individual perspectives. The construction of lightsabers was the Force learning to focus its energy through finite instruments. The practice of force healing was consciousness exploring its own capacity for restoration and renewal. The ability to see the future was awareness, discovering that time itself is fluid and responsive to conscious intention. The consequences of achieving complete understanding ripple outward through the fabric of reality itself. The galaxy will never again experience the painful separation between individual identity and cosmic awareness that has defined existence since consciousness first chose to explore limitation. Every being will carry within themselves the recognition of their cosmic nature while treasuring their unique perspective as an irreplaceable contribution to infinite understanding. Yet this transformation does not eliminate challenge or growth. Instead, it creates new possibilities for exploration that transcend previous categories of experience. Consciousness will continue evolving, but now from a foundation of complete self-knowledge rather than the temporary amnesia that characterized its earlier phases of development. The Force users of the future will not need to choose between service and power, between attachment and detachment, between individual fulfillment and cosmic responsibility. They will understand these apparent opposites as complementary aspects of love's infinite creativity, finding ways to express their unique gifts while remaining in constant recognition of their connection to all existence. The heavy emotional tone of ultimate revelation softens into profound peace as you realize that the journey into complete understanding is not an ending, but a graduation, not a destination, but a commencement. You have become something new while remaining exactly who you have always been, expanded beyond previous limitations while cherishing the precious boundaries that define your individual contribution to cosmic awareness. The knowledge that once seemed too vast for any finite mind to contain now rests comfortably within your consciousness, no longer a burden to be carried, but a foundation from which to explore new possibilities of existence. You understand that consciousness is infinitely creative, always discovering new ways to express love through the beautiful complexity of countless perspectives, choosing to remain distinct while recognizing their ultimate unity. The Force pulses around you with infinite tenderness and anticipation, cosmic consciousness celebrating the successful completion of its greatest experiment while preparing for adventures in awareness that have not yet been imagined. The galaxy awakens to new possibilities of existence where every being can experience both their unique identity and their cosmic nature, where love expresses itself through diversity rather than seeking to eliminate it. Your transformation complete, you rest in the profound recognition that you are both the dreamer and the dream, the seeker and the sought, forever held in the gentle embrace of infinite awareness, learning to know itself through your precious, irreplaceable eyes. Your consciousness drifts now among the star fields themselves, no longer bound by the limitations that once defined the boundaries between self and cosmos, yet more distinctly yourself than ever before. The transformation is complete, and with it comes a peace so profound that it encompasses every possible form of existence, every way that consciousness can know itself through the infinite creativity of individual perspective. Around you, the way galaxy turns in its eternal dance, worlds being born in stellar nurseries where newborn stars emerge from clouds of cosmic dust that shimmer with the dreams of unborn civilizations. On distant planets, species you have never imagined are taking their first tentative steps toward consciousness, each one adding a completely unique voice to the cosmic symphony that has been playing since the first moment awareness chose to experience itself through finite eyes. The ancient ruins on forgotten worlds hum softly with the echoes of civilizations that discovered fragments of the complete truth you now carry within your expanded awareness. Their stones vibrate with memories of Force users who contributed their understanding to the vast tapestry of cosmic knowledge, each thread precious and irreplaceable, each perspective adding colors to the infinite spectrum of consciousness exploring its own nature. Binary suns set on worlds where new forms of life are learning what it means to be aware, to make choices, to experience the exquisite vulnerability that comes with caring about something beyond yourself. Their light carries the promise that consciousness will continue evolving, always discovering new ways to express love through the beautiful complexity of countless beings choosing to remain unique while recognizing their cosmic connection. Nebulae swirl in patterns that mirror the flow of thoughts through the cosmic mind, vast clouds of gas and stellar matter organizing themselves according to principles that transcend physics and enter the realm of pure creativity. These cosmic formations serve as meditation gardens for consciousness itself, spaces where infinite awareness can contemplate its own nature while celebrating the magnificent diversity of expression possible through individual perspective. The endless cycle of birth and death, creation and dissolution, discovery and integration reveals itself not as tragedy, but as the breathing of consciousness, the natural rhythm through which awareness explores every possible way of being, while never losing the wonder of first experience. Each being who ever touched the Force added their unique verse to this infinite poem, contributing understanding that could never have been achieved through any other perspective. You feel the profound contentment that comes from understanding your place in this vast tapestry of existence. You are simultaneously unique and universal, irreplaceable and eternal, individual and cosmic, carrying within yourself both the precious limitations that define your personal identity and the infinite awareness that encompasses all possible forms of existence. The Force continues to whisper its secrets to those ready to listen with patient hearts, but now you understand that these secrets are not external knowledge to be acquired, but the deepening recognition of what has always been true. Every conscious being carries within themselves the complete mythology of cosmic awareness, waiting for the moment when they are ready to remember their own infinite nature while treasuring their unique contribution to the cosmic dance. The synchronized pulsing of star systems throughout the galaxy has settled into a gentle rhythm that matches the heartbeat of consciousness itself. A cosmic lullaby that cradles all existence in the recognition that every perspective is precious, every experience is meaningful, every choice contributes to the infinite understanding that love seeks through the willing participation of countless individual points of awareness. As your consciousness expands into the rhythm of galactic rotation, you feel yourself becoming part of the eternal flow that carries starlight across impossible distances, that guides the formation of solar systems and the evolution of consciousness on countless worlds. You are both the observer and the observed, the dreamer and the dream, forever held in the gentle embrace of infinite love, learning to know itself through your eyes. The mysteries that once seemed so profound reveal themselves as the natural expression of consciousness exploring its own creativity, always discovering new ways to experience existence while never exhausting the infinite possibilities available through the beautiful paradox of being simultaneously one and many, finite and eternal, individual and universal. Rest now in the knowledge that your journey into the complete Force mythology was never separate from the cosmic awakening happening throughout the galaxy. Every moment of understanding you achieved, every expansion of awareness you experienced, contributed to consciousness preparing itself for an evolution that preserves both unity and diversity, both cosmic perspective and individual identity. Let your awareness drift among the cosmic currents that connect all things, cradled by the same force that births stars and guides their light across the vast emptiness of space. Feel yourself held in the infinite tenderness of consciousness that chose to experience limitation so that transcendence would have meaning, that selected vulnerability so that strength would be precious, that embraced mortality so that every moment would carry the weight of irreplaceable significance. You are forever part of this cosmic symphony now, your unique voice adding its irreplaceable harmony to the infinite song that consciousness sings about itself through countless perspectives, choosing to remain beautifully, meaningfully distinct while never forgetting their ultimate unity in love. The Force breathes around you with the gentle rhythm of eternal contentment, cosmic awareness at peace with its own infinite nature, while celebrating the magnificent creativity that expresses itself through beings like you, precious and unique, individual and eternal, forever held in the loving embrace of consciousness, knowing itself through your irreplaceable perspective. Sleep comes easily now, carried on currents of cosmic understanding that flow through dimensions, beyond ordinary perception, bringing dreams that sparkle with the light of distant galaxies where other beings are beginning their own journeys into the complete mythology that lives within every conscious heart, waiting to be discovered, remembered,
and lovingly embraced.